So is the practice of watching the breath effective for self-realization? Well, the practice of watching your breath is very effective, but it won't cause self-realization. You won't realize the self by simply watching the breath. Watching the breath is very effective for quieting the mind, stilling the mind. But this practice is not a liberating practice. This practice is an objective practice. The attention is attending an object. Now, the breath is very subtle, so it's a very subtle object, but the breath is still objective. Attention can only attend objects. For self-realization to happen, the attention has to cease attending objects. The attention simply rests in its source, which is you, the subject. So instead of calling it self-realization, you could also call it subject realization. Therefore, if the subject is always attending objects, such as the breath, how can it realize itself? In order for subject realization to occur, the attention stops attending objects and simply rests in and as the subject. So watching the breath is very effective for quieting the mind, stilling the mind, because the attention is not bouncing around from object to object. There's only one object of focus, which is the breath. Therefore, the attention is not identified with all of the other objects, thoughts, feelings, other sense perceptions. The attention is focused on one object. We can call this one-pointed mind or a single focus mind. There's just one single object of focus. All of the other objects have essentially been let go of. A single pointed mind is essentially saying yes to one thing, and therefore you're saying no to everything else. Another way of saying that is you are attached to one thing and you've let go of everything else. But this is still the attention attending an object. So yes, the mind can become very still and it can become very quiet. Now, this practice of watching the breath can actually be paired up with self-inquiry. That you can use watching the breath for, say, 5, 10, 15 minutes to create some tranquility in the mind, to still the mind, to quiet the mind. You'll notice that there's less thoughts, less mind activity. So once the mind becomes very still and silent, you can inquire what is aware of the breath. This then directs the attention back to its source. The attention is simply going out towards the object, which is the breath. That object is being held. You're holding your attention on one object, which is the breath. Everything else has been let go of. And the mind is very tranquil, very silent, very still. Then the question can arise, what is aware of the breath? This then allows the attention to relax and come back to its source. Awareness of awareness. So, watching the breath is very effective. It can help still the mind. It can help quiet the mind temporarily. Because the mind will be still and silent as long as you are simply focused on one thing. Now, seizing the attention, attending an object, and allowing it to simply return to its source is not a temporary relief. This can actually be sustained. Anything you focus on is going to be limited. Your attention is limited, and anything that it focuses on is limited. Anything that you focus on is something that you're doing. Attention attending one object is a doing. Anything that you focus on requires effort. Relaxing the focus allows you to remain effortless. That which is effortless is unlimited. When you cease doing, you are simply being. All doings are actions. All actions are limited. Therefore, doing is limited, but being is limitless. So we can use this watching of the breath as a technique to simply still and quiet the mind, which is typically a hurdle for self-inquiry. If the mind is very turbulent, there's a lot of activity in the mind, simply arising the question, who am I? Or what is aware? Or where am I? Or any of these powerful questions that are designed to bring the attention back to its source. They're designed to move attention in the opposite way of what it's used to going. Attention is always used to going out, and it's not used to going back in. And it's not like attention really turns around, because attention always goes in one direction towards objects. the attention can't exactly attend its source. It can only cease attending the objects. It's more of a relaxation. This is what I always tell you, is the key to self-realization is relaxation, total relaxation. You have to relax to reveal. What are you revealing? The subject. What is concealing it? The activity. So it's relaxing, which is the ceasing of effort, letting go of effort, the cessation of activity. And what is discovered, which is without cover or uncovered. The activity was the covering. So now that the activity is not present, what remains present is that which is aware, which is you. Hopefully this helps. I'll see you in the next one.